Kevin Green is with me, senior markets correspondent, taking a look at some of the levels and some of the action as we kick off this Friday morning. Good morning, Kevin Green.
Good morning, Nicole. Just like you said, we're seeing around 70% of the stocks in the S&P 500 up in the early session right now. And that's really just signifying the fact that market breadth continues to come in to this market. And we might see today maybe a little bit of enthusiasm or a trade ahead of this China trade talk situation that's going to happen over the weekend here. And maybe that gives enough enthusiasm for us to break above that 5,700 level and be able to close above that. I think that's going to be the key area for today. And if we're looking at the intraday chart here, 5,700 is going to be your first area of potential resistance. We did break through it yesterday, but we weren't able to sustain it. And obviously, we had some market commentary around 10 minutes to go into the close that really pushed us lower here. But if we're able to break above 5,700, I'm looking at 5,740 to the upside here. Wide range to the downside. The first area of structural support is going to be 5,630. Keep that one on the radar here. That's going to be the 200 period moving average on the 15-minute chart that has been acting as a pretty decent area of support. And anything below that, you're looking for buyers to really try to step in at 5,600 here. Obviously, this is going to be based on the news flow today, and we have seen some pretty sharp reactions for the market, both to the upside or downside, just based on the commentary coming from the White House here. But the market was able to shrug off maybe the early commentary coming from President Trump around 80% tariff for China, because at the end of that statement saying that it's up to Scott B in order to be able to make this deal. And I think the market's pricing in that Scott Bessent is going to try to maybe reduce those that level as much as he possibly can in order to not only make a trade deal, but also to be mindful of the impacts of tariffs on the U.S. economy. So we're holding up pretty well here to start off the session.
Right, understood. We were just speaking with Kevin. He was noting how April, that we saw, early April, we saw oil at $71, and we've dropped below 60 not that long ago. We're at 60 right now, right? Just the sell-off we've seen, but we've had a bit of a comeback from our lows. What are you watching in crude here now?
Yeah, for crude oil, I think we've had a little bit of a technical, push to the upside here over the last couple of trading sessions, and that's really signified by the open interest. We actually see it declining over the last couple of trading sessions here, which kind of signifies that maybe the shorts that were in the market maybe closed out those positions. But now we're at a pretty critical area for crude this morning here. We have the anchored volume weighted average price that I have basically from that low that we had from at $55.12. That was back on April 9th here. Just averaging those prices out, that has now shown in that purple line to be a potential area of resistance, as well as the highs that we had back in April 1st as well. So we have just this confluence of moving averages that are really kind of pointing to the $60 level being a key area here for crude to try to overcome, but it could be actually an area of resistance. It also matches with that 20-day moving average on the daily chart. But the MACD does actually have a little bit of a bullish cross here at the bottom there, but once again, kind of noting this counter trend rally to the upside has been complemented with volume decreasing on these up days. So a decent move to the upside, around 5.5% from the lows right now when it comes to oil, but still has a lot of work to do. And I'm not sure if it's truly pricing in the macroeconomic factors that we have in the next 3 to 4 months. But if we actually have a trade deal or a signal of a trade deal or a framework after this weekend, you could see oil rally pretty aggressively here, Nicole.
Right, understood. And last but not least, you're watching a chart of Nvidia?
Yep, looking at Nvidia, we're going to look at the 3-year weekly chart. And the reason why I'm bringing this one up, it's testing the upper end of a resistance level here. It has had a bull flag pattern. We've been in a bullish trend. If you're looking at the last 3 years, we have had a consolidation here, and we've been keeping this channel pretty much intact. And right now it's going to be testing or fairly close to testing the upper end of that channel, sitting at around that 120 level. And if we're able to break above 120, I think 124 is going to be the key area of resistance for the stock. CCI is really getting close to crossing over that momentum line, which is also bullish, and MACD looks like it wants to cross in a bullish formation. So this is just a setup, Nicole, that just has been intact for actually for a fairly long time, pretty much the whole year. And we're going to see if we're going to actually have a technical breakout to the upside here and try to recapture maybe some of these losses that we've seen over the last 3 to 4 months.
Yeah. All right. And Kevin Green, why don't you stay with me, because I want you to take a look at an intraday chart here of Crowdstrike. We're seeing this name as it's now. There's the market chatter here. Department of Justice, SEC, a probe on Crowdstrike executives and in a deal that they made here. And you're seeing this stock dropping off intraday pretty precipitously. It's at 416 now, down about 3%. But this investigation is underway and pressuring this name. I mean, the company, the cybersecurity cybersecurity company, has been announcing new strategic initiatives, deals. The results were due out on June 3rd. They were going to be telling us more about the company. But maybe a quick thought on this type of name, Kevin?
Yeah, this is not the news headline that you'd like to see, Nicole, especially when you have the U.S. actually looking at some of these deals. It appears, based on the Bloomberg report that I read, and obviously this is just allegations for right now, that there might be a situation where Crowdstrike actually failed to, was working with another company called Carahsoft, made a deal, but maybe it failed to actually deliver products to the IRS. And so that's really what the probe is looking into. And then now they're looking at other deals and seeing if there could be maybe some accounting issues or maybe some potential fraud issues. Once again, that's the allegation. I'm not saying that, to be very clear, but that's not really what you want to see for the stock that has been making really decent gains after that July incident that we saw around last year. It's been able to recover. Not a really good sign for this company. We'll see what actually comes from these probes. They can take months as well. This is not going to be something that's over in a week or 2 weeks. This could take 6 months, even up to a year, in order for them to do their investigation.
Yeah, all right. So we'll continue to follow this story. Thanks for staying with me for that breaking news. Department of Justice, SEC investigating CrowdStrike. So watch this stock today, folks. It may be a bit volatile. Thank you, Kevin Green. Good to see you. Appreciate it.